Alright guys, so it looks like Modern Warfare 2 Season 2 is a complete failure. And before you click off the video, I just want to say that I do have high hopes for Modern Warfare 2, so I'm not making this video as an attack on Modern Warfare 2, on Season 2, or on Call of Duty as a whole, because I want to see the game succeed. I've been playing Call of Duty ever since Black Ops 1, and for the most part, they've always been able to deliver a somewhat enjoyable experience. But man, I don't know what happened with Modern Warfare 2. Honestly, I felt like the game started out really strong. Yeah, there were a lot of bugs and glitches, but that's basically every single Call of Duty since 2015, when they started to focus way too much on microtransactions and stop focusing on releasing full games that are complete with good leaderboards, good maps, decent and balanced weapons, and good 6v6 multiplayer. That 2-month content drought basically solidified that they really didn't care to retain players for more than the initial launch, which is sad to see because they claimed this was supposed to be a 2-year game, and yet it didn't even last over 3 months. And to top it all off, we get this update and they barely add anything. Yeah, we got 2 new maps, a new resurgence map, and a couple of weapons plus the event for the crossbow, but is that really enough? Is that really what we paid $70 for? Because honestly, to me, I feel like I've been ripped off. When you really look at what they added to the game as a whole, they basically only added a new resurgence map and then gave us 2 maps that should have already been in the game since the start of the game. I mean, the museum map was in the beta, and Dome is just Dome. Everybody's played Dome about a million times, and I will say it is a nice addition to the game, but if it was in Warzone, why was it not added into the base game so that we could at least have a couple more maps that are enjoyable from launch? Activision has a lot of money. They have a lot of developers, and I know that they can make good games because they used to make them in the past, and that goes for the maps and weapons as well, because the new weapons that they really added aren't anything really that special. They brought in the ISO Hemlock, which is a slow firing AR, which is definitely nice to see, but it's basically the exact same thing as the ISO SMG from Modern Warfare 2019, just in an AR form. Then they added the crossbow, which is basically the exact same thing as Modern Warfare 2019's, and they locked it behind an event that is time gated. So if you want to unlock the crossbow, unfortunately you can't do that for about another week. I will say it's a good addition that they're adding back events, because it does give us something to do in the short term, but the point of Call of Duty is to be a year-long game. When they go 2 months without any content and then finally give us content and it's not really that great, and then they try to drip feed us more content by saying that they'll give us another map in another couple of weeks for the Season 2 Reloaded, it just kind of feels like a slap in the face to everybody that spent actual money on this game. They've added hardcore mode, which should have been in the game since the beginning, and tier 1 should have been a backup mode for those that were looking to play a more realistic version of the game. But honestly, why did that take them 3 months to add into the game when it was in every single Call of Duty prior to this one? It just really doesn't make any sense to me. It makes me wonder what they're actually spending our money on, because I paid $70 for this game, expecting it to be a 2-year game, and then I got no content for that. Ground War doesn't play well, Invasion's not that fun after probably like 1 or 2 games. Multiplayer is honestly really unenjoyable to me because of skill-based matchmaking, which don't even get me started on skill-based matchmaking, because I can make an entirely separate video on how much I hate how strict the skill-based matchmaking is in this game, because it makes it almost impossible for me to stream or even record videos, especially live commentaries, because in one game I can do extremely well, and then every single game after that I'll get placed on the worst teams and play against 2 to 3 actually skilled players. So it just makes it really hard to make content or to want to make content, because I don't want to only play one game, and I don't want to have to start reverse boosting in order to get better content. I understand why skill-based matchmaking is in this game, but they added ranked play, and honestly I think the ranked play is pretty decent, but at the moment, since everybody is at bronze 1, it's a little inconsistent. So sometimes you'll get into a match and your team will play the objective, and other times you'll get into a match and nobody knows what to do. So personally, I think that they should just add a couple of placement matches before you get placed into your actual ranking systems, and that should really clear up a lot of the issues that are going on with the ranked play right now. So overall, I will say ranked is pretty decent. Also, it's nice to see that you get separate rewards for participating in ranked play. Another thing I wanted to address with the game is how slow the aim down sight still is in this game, and why does every single attachment ruin your gun? I know that there's a website called sim.gg where you can basically build guns with their respective attachments, and it'll give you every single stat that you'll possibly ever need, and from what it seems like, it's very accurate. So I just don't understand why every single attachment basically ruins your aim down sight speed, and on top of that, jump shotting also ruins your aim down sight speed. So I just don't understand what they're trying to go for with the way that they want you to play the game, because they know what made Modern Warfare 2019 successful, and that's how everybody could manipulate the movement and basically outplay everybody simply by slide canceling or jump shotting and positioning themselves better and utilizing stem shots. So with all of this being said, I know it sounds like an extremely negative video, but here are my suggestions to try to make it a little bit better. Number 1, and I don't know if this is only an issue for me, but the perk packages have to go, and they need to go back to the traditional 3 perk system, or if they wanted to, they can even add a 4 perk system, because the timer just causes so many issues, and a lot of the time when I'm trying to switch between perk packages in mid game, the new perks that I select don't even activate, and I'm stuck with the ones that I had at the beginning of the game, and it's just extremely frustrating when I'm trying to switch my perks around, and I'll select a new set of perks and they just won't apply to my character, so then I'm not even sure what perks I have active throughout the entire match. I am almost 100% positive that they can figure out a way to balance everything, because in Modern Warfare 2019 you could use quick fix with Ghost and it was never patched, so I'm pretty sure they don't have an issue with it, and it would just make the game more consistent. On top of that, most of the ultimate perks are pretty bad. I'd say the best perks are Ghost, Quick Fix, and High Alert, Fast Hands, Battle Hardened, and Bomb Squad, with the exception of Overkill, so I'm pretty sure they can figure out a way to balance all these perks, just like they've done in every single Call of Duty prior to this one. The next thing I'd like to see them really change is just a couple of the weapons and the way that recoil works on a few of them, because it's pretty obvious which guns are the absolute best in the entire game, and I would like there to be more guns that are able to be used effectively at a competitive level, just so that every single game isn't so repetitive with the way that you play it, because the most important thing in any video game, at least to me, is ensuring that it's fun and has good replayability. And for the most part with multiplayer games, it's usually based on the maps and the weapons, because if they're not good maps and there's not good weapons, then you really don't feel like playing the game. I don't think I should have to do challenge videos in order for me to feel like I'm getting a new experience every single time I play the game, so it would just be nice to see a couple more guns be viable in the current sandbox, especially SMGs, because I feel like they're lacking way behind every other weapon in the game. I would love to use the MP7, but honestly anything further than mid-range is almost impossible to beat somebody because of the way that it recoils and because of the damage profile on it. So I definitely feel like the SMGs need a little bit of a buff, whether it's to aim down sight speed, recoil, or even just the way that attachments affect the weapons, because then it'll make them more viable. Like, I don't understand why an SMG can ever get over 500 millisecond aim down sight speed. It used to never be an issue for Call of Duties back in the day, where you could throw on 6 attachments and still have a fast strafe speed and a fast aim down sight speed. So I know that it's possible for them to cap off the ADS speed, or to even adjust the way that the attachments affect certain weapons in certain weapon classes. I'm pretty sure that if Activision ever saw this video, all the suggestions that I'm giving them would basically go under the radar, even though I feel like they are pretty good suggestions, but Activision would obviously just blame it on balancing issues, which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, because I don't really understand what they're trying to do with this game. It seems like they want us to play extremely slow, but as an arcade shooter, that's never been Call of Duty's identity, so I don't understand why they would be pushing in that direction. Ever since the original Modern Warfare 2, I feel like the game has basically been a run and gun in your face shooter with fast paced action, so that's why I don't understand why they're pushing in this direction. Kind of seems like they're trying to push towards a more Battlefield-esque type style of game, even though Battlefield has been failing over the past few years. So that's basically it. That's my whole take on this big Season 2 update, if you can even call it that. It's more of just a basic patch with a couple of new things added, even though the map should have been in the game since the beginning, but that's basically it, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and let the gameplay play in the background, but I hope you guys did enjoy, and if you did, then please hit that like button, subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.